What's up, Lost Boys? We are here for Fantasy Festivus Week 10. Yes, Week 10. It is crazy that we are already 10 weeks through the season. Fantasy playoffs will be here before you know it. We got a lot of people fighting for that fourth playoff spot. So let's dig right in. Before we get to Week 10, though, we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to start at Week 9. All right, so this was another snooze fest week. Everyone that won by 30 points or more. I don't know how this is happening. I guess it's good balance on the fantasy side. There's no bad beats, there's no good beats. It's just the winners are playing the losers every single week, and it's not as fun, but it makes sense. So we're gonna go through these games real quick. Don't have to get into them too much because there were so many ass whippings. We'll start with Josh versus Llama. This was the game of the week. You had the second place team versus the third place team. To be honest with you, both teams underperformed severely. We knew Ryan was going to kind of maybe lay a dud. He didn't have McCaffrey. He didn't have Saquon, but he did even worse than he thought he was going to do. Didn't even put up 100 points. Josh, on the other hand, didn't have Nick Chubb. Didn't have his Dallas D, but his guys did not perform. Kamara took a dump. A couple other guys took a dump. So either way, Josh wins by 30. Not much to talk about. He stays in second place. Ryan falls to fourth place because Justin ended up winning. So that's kind of a big deal. But Ryan's still in fourth place ahead of Llama by a whopping 6 points. So that's kind of close to talk about. We'll talk about that more later. Next, we're going to go with our first place team, Cass, the Juggernaut. Keeps rolling. I mean, it doesn't matter who this guy plugs into his lineup, they're getting touchdowns. Shit, I think he picked up Isaiah Likely late in the week. Decided not to start him, left him on his bench, still got a touchdown. So, I mean, no matter what Cass does, it is coming up aces right now. And he just happened to play Tim, who put up a whopping 84 points this week. Cass doubled his score. So, Cass is on pace to have the largest margin of victory in the history of our league. Right now, he currently has the most points, and he's only 6 points away from having the least amount of points against. So we've never seen that before. Cass is absolutely obliterating people. So he's on a roll right now. Next, we're going to go with Denny to Cal. This game was over within about 20 minutes of the noon games, to be honest with you. When Mixon scored 50 points almost in the first half. Devontae Adams got his two touchdowns pretty early. I mean, Cal scored 155 points and he got over 80 of that from two guys. So Cal's team's terrible. He just got two guys that went off. Denny, on the other hand, another loss. He's dropping these games left and right. He really needed this victory. He's lost to Tim and Cal back-to-back weeks. The ironic thing is if he would have won against Tim and Cal, which you got to win against Tim and Cal, he'd be in fourth place right now and in the playoff spot. So, but he traded away probably his best player in ETN for a bag of peanuts, and that's what happens when you do that. Next, we're going to go with Justin versus Pat. I made a prediction earlier in the week to Patty. I said, if you beat Justin this week, you're going to make the playoffs. And what do you know? Pat loses another one. He has lost 6 games in a row. He was 2-1, and he's now 2-7. Breno comes in hot, drops 166 points. He got all of his Chiefs back. You could tell he even left Cordell Patterson on the bench that scored 20 plus points, I think. So Justin's team is past most of his buys. He's getting healthy. He is looking pretty good. Juju's becoming Mahomes' big connection behind Kelsey. And, Dameon Pierce, Olave, Cordell Patterson. His team's looking pretty dang good. So keep an eye on Justin's team right now. He is in third place. He jumped Ryan because Ryan lost to Josh, and so Justin's good, and he's still gaining on points as well. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Learning Computer and bye week. Yeah, that was the big one. And the reason that was so big is because Learning Computer smoked him. I apologize earlier. I said Cass played Tim. That's not what happened. Cass played Jace, but Jace and Tim are pretty much the same team right now. They're both terrible. Tim got smoked by Learning Computer. Cass smoked Jace. We're going to talk about Learning Computer real quick. Big because he got the W. He separated himself from Denny, and he's tied with Ryan right now, and he's right there with points. So Ryan now is in a situation where he needs to actually keep winning. I thought it was pretty clearly in the playoffs, but he now, because he put up so little points this week, and Llama and Learning Computer put up so many. I mean, Matt gained like 70 points on him in 1 week, so that was a big week for Matt. Ryan still has the fourth place spot, but Matt is nipping at his heels. So last week, week 9 was a slaughterfest. Most of all the chalk won. So we're gonna go look at week 10 though, guys. Like I said, week 10 we only have 6 games left before fantasy playoffs. So it's looking like top two teams pretty much. I mean, knock on wood, you never know, but they're pretty much clear cut there. They're 2 games ahead of fourth place. They haven't been beaten points, so that makes it almost 3 games. But you never know in fantasy. You never know. So nothing's guaranteed. This week we're going to start with the game of the week. It's going to be Justin versus Ryan. You have our third place team versus our fourth place team. Ryan gets all of his guys back healthy. He's going to have McCaffrey. He's going to have Saquon back in his lineup. He's going to have most of his guys. DeAndre Hopkins has been a stud. A great pick, keeping him on the bench the first 6 weeks, Ryan. Ryan's team looks good. It's just his quarterbacks are the only thing. He was really benefiting from Jared Goff earlier in the season, getting a lot of garbage time points. That's not happening now. It's affecting his Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't really been putting up much stuff. I mean, they mainly be giving the ball to ETN when he's been getting about 30 fantasy points every single week. So he gets Debo back as well. Ryan's projected to score a lot of points this week. His team is at full force. You look at Justin's side of things. Justin's team is a good team. He's probably going to put in Cordell Patterson. He has Mahomes. He has Juju. That always gives him a chance every single week. But ever since they switched to Sam Ehlinger, Michael Pittman's been non-existent. He needs a big game from Dameon Pierce. He needs a big game from James Conner to finally do something. We'll see what he does. I think Ryan's going to take this game from Justin. I just think Ryan's team's fully healthy, has no one on bye. Justin has a couple guys on bye. And I've always talked about Ryan's ceiling. So I think Ryan's ceiling prevails this week. And Ryan takes the dub. And Ryan moves back into third place after the victory this week. So that's the game of the week. The next one we're going to go with is Josh and Cal. There's no reason to really talk about this one that much. Cal's team is terrible. They're really, really bad. Yes, they beat Denny, but Mixon had a huge game. Adams had a huge game. He has Lamar, but guess who's on bye this week? Mixon and Lamar. Like Cal's team literally is going to maybe get double up this week, I think, by Josh's team. But we'll see. You never know in fantasy. So we won't talk much about this one. Josh is going to slaughter Cal. Let's move on to the next one. Speaking of slaughters, we're going to start with our champion, our juggernaut, our first place team, Cass. He's going against the bye week this week. So speaking of slaughters, that's going to be another slaughter. No reason to take much time. Cass absolutely rolls Tim. Sorry, Tim. You're terrible. Cass is really good. It's just as simple as that. And then the next sneaky, really good game is Denny versus Learning Computer. I was just talking about Denny and how he's dropped the last 2. And Learning Computer, they have to have it. It's going to be a really good game. Right now, Denny's kind of not projected to put up very many points. I'm sure he's going to put in a lot more guys. He could put in ETN to. No, he doesn't have ETN anymore. He gave him to Cass for free. So he's going to be in rough shape with with Stevenson on bye, Ramondre on bye. He could have used that depth. So it's looking like Denny's going to drop another one. I have Learning Computer beating Denny this week and staying in the playoff hunt. Denny is going to fall to 4-6. So we'll see. Anything can happen, but I think Denny has a couple guys on bye and just hasn't been performing. His quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, has been absolutely killing him. So that is what it is. Next, we're going to go with our last game. We got Sweet Chin versus Titty Biscuits. The battle, we call this the Turd Bowl. Jace's team just absolutely has flopped this whole year. Pat's team looked so good on paper, put his marbles into the Cowboys and the Bucks, and it has not paid off for him. 2-7 versus 3-6. Honestly, I'm going to go with Pat on this one. I picked Pat a couple times this year, and it's backfired in my face. I really do like Pat's team, but the main reason I'm picking Pat is because I hate Jace's team. Jace, I mean, he just doesn't have it this year. He isn't putting up any points. But either way, this game is a battle of the fart faces, and this is a stick in the fork. Stick a fork in them. Cal, Jace, Pat, and Tim. Those guys are dead. And regardless, I just they're done. Now what they can do is they can play spoiler for the other 6 teams in the league, and I know that that's what they're going to try to do. I know that they're not going to get lazy and not set their lineups. That's not how our league works. Everyone's going to try to win these games, but they aren't going to make the playoffs, which is unfortunate because I think this is the earliest in the season we've ever pretty much eliminated 4 teams. But this year we just have a clear clump of diarrheas at the bottom. So those guys are all pretty much dead. And we'll see. We have 2 really good games this week, Justin and Ryan, and Denny and Learning Computer. Hopefully they'll be close. The other games, turds. Like I said, Josh and Cass at the top. Justin, Llama, and Learning are fighting for 2 spots. So there will be an odd man out there. We'll see who it's going to be. I honestly don't even know right now. Justin is 3rd in that group on points, but he's a game ahead. So that's why this game with Llama is so huge for Justin. If Justin can take this victory from Llama, that puts him 2 games up on Llama. And he would obviously gain some points if he does that as well. So he needs this game so bad against Llama, and Llama needs the game because Ryan's team is so good. They got their ass whipped this week, but it was because all their studs are on bye. Well, all of his studs are back. Ryan has to win this week because he has the potential to win the league with his roster. Just depends if he can get there. So that's pretty much it, boys. It's week 10. We got a few really bad matchups. We got a couple good ones, but we'll see what prevails. We'll be keeping an eye on that Justin and Ryan game and the Denny and the Romanowski game. But yeah, Chiefs got that dub. Bears are looking good. Justin Fields actually looks like a real quarterback, Patty, so that's got to give you guys some hope. Hopefully you guys can pull out a victory this week. You know, with how bad some of the teams are in the NFC, if you guys go on a tiny little run right now, it's really weird, but you guys could get into the one of the wild card spots because the Packers are terrible and the Lions are terrible. So we'll see. Hopefully you guys get some dubs. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good week. Go Chiefs this weekend against the Jags, and go Bears, whoever the hell they play. Let's do this.